Kelly. Tonight, I want to share 2 chilling stories. One sent in by a viewer from Taiwan, and the other from my own childhood. Both are real experiences. When I was little, our family lived pretty simply. We didn't even have a TV stand. The television just sat right on the floor of our bedroom. The moment you opened the bedroom door, the TV was right in front of you. And just to its right sat a broken air conditioner that no one ever moved. All of us slept on floor mats. I shared mine with my dad and older sister, all squeezed together in that same room. One night, I stayed up late. Everyone else was asleep, so I was the only one still awake. Bored, I started flipping through channels. Back then, whenever you switched channels, the screen would go black for just a second. I was sitting on the left side of the TV, facing the screen. And in that split second of darkness, I saw it, right there, in the reflection. It looked like a girl with long hair, sitting across from me. Her arms were wrapped around her knees, and her head was buried in her lap. That shadowy figure didn't fade away. It stayed, every single time I flipped the channel. I kept telling myself, I must be imagining it. But no matter how many times the screen went dark, she was still there. My whole body froze. I didn't dare move, didn't even dare change the channel anymore. I just sat there, pretending to stay calm. And then I thought, maybe I should go to the bathroom. Our bathroom was small, just a long rectangle. The light switch was outside, on the left of the door. When you walked in, the washing machine was right in front. The sink was to the left. And at the very end, on the right side, was the toilet. I turned on the light, went inside, closed the door, and sat down. I had just started to relax when suddenly, click, the light went out. My heart nearly stopped. I rushed to finish and ran out, only to see the switch had been flipped down. In that moment, I knew, whatever it was, it had followed me. But what else could I do? I forced myself to act normal, step by step, walking back to the bedroom. I didn't dare switch off the TV again. I just left it glowing in the dark, curled up in my spot on the floor, and eventually forced myself to fall asleep. Morning finally came. I couldn't bring myself to tell my parents. It felt like whatever that thing was in our house, I had been forced to live with it for years. These are things that happened when I was little, though I've changed some details of time and place. We used to live in an old 2-story house. The walls were always damp, and the wooden windows had become so warped that they often stuck and wouldn't close properly. I shared a room with my 2 younger brothers. Each of us had our own bed, and the layout was simple. But strange things kept happening, one after another. My mom once told me about something that happened when my older younger brother was about 2 or 3 years old. In the middle of the night, he wouldn't sleep. He was rolling around on the bed, then suddenly pointed toward the window and shouted,
"Mom, there's a foot over there."
Mom froze. And the creepy thing was, the curtain really was puffing up, like someone was standing right behind it. But our room was on the 2nd floor. Outside that window, there was no platform at all. Nothing anyone could stand on. My younger brother also had his own encounter. One night, he suddenly told me very seriously,
"Take sis. Someone's singing."
This happened in a smaller bedroom with just 2 single beds, one on each side of the wall and a narrow walkway between them. We only had a little nightlight on, filling the room with a dim orange glow. I was startled. There was no music, no singing. I asked him, "What song?" He looked up at the ceiling and said, "Ting Hai by Aimee." Aimee is a well-known Taiwanese singer, and she's from an indigenous background. At that time, Aimee was super popular, but the house was completely silent. No matter how hard I listened, there was nothing. Still, he insisted. So, for the sake of his little heart, I just told him, "Yeah, that was me singing. Now go to sleep." By the next morning, I can't remember if I ever told my parents, but that moment stuck in my memory. As for me, my own experience was more direct. Our bedroom door had 2 layers, one wooden door and one screen door. In the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up. I was wide awake, sitting up in bed, and then I saw it. Both doors, the screen and the wood, were wide open. It was like someone had walked in and just forgot to close them. I froze. I couldn't even breathe. The next day, I asked my parents, but they swore they never came in. And then there was the kitchen. Everyone in the family knew about this. Almost every night around 1 a.m., you could hear dishes clattering, lids being lifted and set down again. Sometimes even the creak of the faucet. But whenever someone went downstairs to check, the kitchen was perfectly neat and clean. Eventually, we just stopped paying attention. All those eerie experiences. Back then, we never really talked about them. Maybe we got used to it, living there so long. But now, looking back, I still get chills down my spine. It always felt like we weren't the only ones living in that house. I heard from an acquaintance. Back when he had just started working, something happened. His uncle suddenly disappeared. One day, his uncle failed to show up for work. He never returned to his apartment either. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Like the story? Want more creepy tales like this? Hit like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow.